Why is Toyota not improving the GR Corolla? Guys, the 2026 GR Corolla has been unveiled and the changes are very minimal. All they've done effectively is added structural adhesive to make it more rigid, and they've added a secondary air intake. The last change really, and I don't know if that's a good change per se, is if you get the JBL premium system, they've added extra noise, synthesized sound in the cabin. So I believe it'll give you pops and bangs, but they're going to be fake pops and bangs, right? Something that BMW also does in a lot of its models. In fact, I think that's sort of the industry trend. But really, for the 2026 model, those are effectively the only changes that Toyota has made to the GR Corolla. And yes, the structural adhesive is good. It's actually a 70% increase, right? 70% is a big increase when you make a change. So yes, that's a good thing. It's going to make the car nice and rigid. It's going to be more playful. It's going to be more serious. The secondary air intake, that's going to help with cooling, help with performance. So yes, that's good as well. But notably, guys, there are no changes to power, no real changes to the all-wheel drive mode, no real changes to really anything, right? The only other thing that Toyota is working on is maybe introducing the extra 30 Newton meters of torque that the GR Corollas got later, not in 2026, they got it a bit earlier, but giving that extra torque to the very early models that the GR Corolla had, the very early releases didn't have that 30 Newton meters power bump. So that's one of the changes that Toyota is announcing, where you can go take your GR Corolla and bring it to parity. But really, guys, it's a pretty lackluster announcement as far as revisions are concerned. The GR Corolla is effectively Toyota's halo product, right? Apart from the GR Yaris, the GR Corolla is indeed the halo product. The Toyota Supra is now going to be no longer, at least that partnership with BMW is ending and Toyota is going to do it all in-house. But for now, the GR Corolla is Toyota's halo product in terms of their sports cars. Toyota really isn't improving it. And it has to really do with the fact, guys, that the G16E GTS engine found in the GR Corolla and in the GR Yaris that I'm in today, guys, it's a 3-cylinder engine and it's already pushed to upwards of 300 horsepower. There's not much you can really do safely. And I know, guys, whenever I sort of point out the limitations of this engine, people seem to get offended, right? And they say this engine's making 700-800 horsepower in Australia, where I live, for example, and in many other regions of the world, tuners have taken this engine to those high power figures. But guys, that isn't reliable power. Make no mistake. Yes, you can get this engine there, and I think really it's because of the market's enthusiasm and excitement that they've taken this 3-cylinder motor there. But this is not the motor you want to choose to push those numbers, guys, right? You would choose the European cars today. Even the Honda Civic Type R you might want to choose, that 2-liter engine. But you shouldn't be choosing a 3-cylinder engine and taking it to 800 horsepower. None of those cars have gotten there without major changes. Definitely head changes and valve spring changes. But certainly, you'd have to overhaul the car. It would be an unrecognizable car, the GR Yaris, when it's making 800 horsepower. Make no mistake, this engine cannot get there with very minor revisions, and that is why Toyota doesn't touch it, guys. Toyota, you have to remember that if nothing else, Toyota represents reliability. And if they could, they would get this engine, they would give it 20 extra horsepower and 30, and they would make some minor revisions or so. But they haven't done it, because I believe that Toyota understand that pushing this engine beyond where it already is a recipe for disaster, guys. And I feel it in my GR Yaris. I think, the power that we have is the limit of this engine, guys, of this platform. I feel it when I drive this car. And, often the red line's 7250 and it bangs off the red line. You can bang it off the limiter all day. Often I'm doing that and I'm thinking to myself, geez, this is effectively the limit here. I would not feel comfortable if this car was pushing extra power, right? It already feels exciting and crazy at the limit, for a 3-cylinder. I don't want this car pushing that extra bit of power, and Toyota understand that. And certainly the audience for Toyota is not like the audience for BMW, Audi, or Mercedes. BMW, Audi, Mercedes, the audience, they're happy to sacrifice a bit of reliability. They're happy to get extra maintenance, right? Where you get water pump replacements and PCV issues, massive oil consumption issues. The German car enthusiasts are happy with those sacrifices to get that extra power, but the Toyota enthusiasts are not, and that is who Toyota caters to. Right now, guys, there is a lot of desire in the industry to modify these GR Corolla and GR Yaris cars And what I've always preached, in fact, to myself and to many of my friends, is these cars are best left stock. Maybe you put a nice catback exhaust on these cars. In fact, I've even heard of cases of people having issues when they put certain air intakes. These cars are certainly best left stock. Add a few handling mods, perhaps change up the characteristic of how the car takes corners, tire mods, driver mods, which are the most important mods out there. Power chasing is not something you should do with this car. I also feel that Toyota is really working on that 4-cylinder engine that's going to be in the Supra and a bunch of other cars. I think that might be their modular type engine, and I think the GR Corolla story is going to continue with that motor. This 3-cylinder engine, guys, is going to go down in history, right? Because it is such a special thing. I mean, we're living in a time where you can buy this car, right? It's still for sale, but make no mistake, when these cars are gone, the GR Corolla, GR Yaris cars with this 3-cylinder engine, they're going to be legends, guys, because it is such a weird thing Toyota's done, right? In an era where no one's offering 3 cylinders. The Fiesta ST did it, a couple of other cars, but in an era where this is not normal, and especially from a manufacturer who's usually conservative, Toyota has gone and given it a 3-cylinder turbo engine making 300 horsepower. That's crazy, guys. We're going to look back and know that's crazy. So this is a special engine for those reasons, but it's not a special engine in terms of making extra power and pushing the limits towards 400, 500, 600 horsepower. So I hope that helps, guys. I'll catch you next time.